Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. But what if I told you there's a way to make it unshakable? Hey, welcome to Connected Souls. I'm Leila Hormozi, here to help you heal, grow, and thrive in love. Trust begins where honesty begins, and honesty starts with the courage to be transparent even when it feels uncomfortable. Too often people wear masks to be accepted, to look stronger, or to avoid judgment, but in reality, those masks push people further away. True trust is not formed when you impress others with perfection, but when you allow them to see your imperfections without fear. Honesty is magnetic because it reflects courage, and people gravitate toward those who are brave enough to speak the truth. When you admit a mistake, instead of hiding it, you build credibility that no excuse could ever replace. Every time you tell the truth, you deposit a seed of trust into the foundation of the relationship. Over time, those small seeds grow into a bond that cannot easily be broken. Radical honesty does not mean sharing every detail of your life, but it does mean that your words align with your reality. It shows people that what they see is what they get, and that assurance gives them the confidence to lean on you without hesitation. The greatest relationships are not defined by how smooth everything seems, but by how resilient they are in the face of challenges. Resilience and trust is born when both people are willing to face reality instead of pretending problems don't exist. Dishonesty may look like a shortcut to peace in the moment, but in the long run, it erodes the very thing you're trying to protect. When you choose honesty, even in uncomfortable conversations, you create a culture of safety where others feel valued and respected. People remember how you made them feel when you chose transparency, even if the truth was hard to hear. They know that in a world where many choose convenience over character, you are someone they can count on. Trust deepens not when everything is perfect, but when truth is present. By being radically honest, you are saying to the other person, I care about this connection enough to be real, even if it risks discomfort. That level of respect transforms relationships from fragile to unshakable. Think about the moments when someone you valued let you down, not because they failed, but because they weren't honest about it. It wasn't the failure itself that caused the deepest hurt. It was the betrayal of knowing they chose to hide the truth. Hiding mistakes is what makes them destructive, while admitting them early gives people the chance to adapt, forgive, and move forward. Radical honesty takes humility because it requires you to put your ego aside and accept responsibility. The irony is that while honesty feels like it exposes you, it actually makes you stronger because it earns you respect. People do not expect you to be flawless, they expect you to be real. They want to know they are investing trust in someone who has the courage to show up authentically. Every time you tell the truth in difficult situations, you prove that your character is stronger than your desire for comfort. That proof creates trust that endures far beyond the moment. Honesty is also about alignment between your values and your behavior. When what you say matches what you do, you create harmony that people notice. Inconsistent actions create doubt, but consistent honesty builds certainty. When your character is consistent, people stop questioning your intentions because your integrity answers for you. Honesty removes the hidden barriers that keep people at a distance. It allows deeper conversations, stronger connections, and the freedom to trust without suspicion. Without honesty, trust will always be fragile because lies, no matter how small, plant seeds of doubt. Radical honesty makes relationships efficient because no one has to waste energy decoding half-truths or guessing hidden meanings. When you choose clarity over deception, you give others the gift of certainty. And certainty is one of the deepest needs in any bond. The fear of honesty usually comes from the thought that the truth will hurt or push people away. Yet the opposite is true. Dishonesty hurts far more and leaves lasting scars that honesty could have prevented. When you are truthful, even if it stings for a moment, it creates long-term security. That security is the soil where trust grows. People who feel safe in your honesty open themselves more deeply because they no longer fear hidden agendas. They know you value integrity over image. They know that your loyalty is not conditional on convenience. That assurance is what transforms a fragile connection into an unshakable relationship. Honesty may not always bring immediate comfort, but it always brings lasting confidence. By choosing truth, you trade temporary ease for permanent respect, and respect is the foundation of every meaningful connection. Radical honesty is not about being harsh or careless with your words, but about being clear, direct, and compassionate. It means speaking the truth with empathy, knowing that your delivery matters just as much as your intention. Trust doesn't grow when truth is weaponized. It grows when truth is shared with love and respect. People are more likely to embrace your honesty when they feel you are rooting for them, not against them. The balance of truth and kindness is what makes honesty powerful instead of painful. When you care enough to tell someone the truth gently, you build trust because you prove your priority is their growth, not your pride. The honesty spoken with empathy heals, while dishonesty spoken with fear harms. Trust requires both courage and compassion, and honesty combines the two in perfect measure. When you practice honesty, you inspire it in others. Your transparency creates a ripple effect where people around you feel free to be open to. The environment shifts from one of suspicion to one of authenticity. When people no longer feel the need to hide, trust becomes the natural outcome. Whole teams, families, and communities can transform when honesty becomes the standard. One person's willingness to be radically honest can ignite a culture where masks are dropped and real connections thrive. Trust spreads because it is rooted in truth, and truth always multiplies when it is practiced boldly. Your choice to lead with honesty could be the key to unlocking stronger bonds everywhere you go. That influence can turn simple connections into lifelong alliances that are unshakable. Every time you stand by honesty, you are making an investment in the future of the relationship. Lies might protect the present moment, but they bankrupt the future. Truth might test the present, but it secures what's ahead. Trust is like a savings account of integrity. You add to it with every act of honesty, and you withdraw from it with every act of deception. Over time, those deposits build wealth in the form of confidence, loyalty, and respect. When people trust you, opportunities open, love deepens, collaboration flourishes. Honesty is the currency that buys security in relationships, and the more you practice it, the richer your connections become. Radical honesty guarantees that even when challenges come, your foundation will not crumble because it was built on truth. True strength in relationships is measured not by how much you can hide, but by how much you can reveal. Vulnerability and honesty walk hand in hand, and together they create bonds that can withstand storms. Radical honesty may feel risky, but the risk of dishonesty is far greater. Trust cannot grow where lies live. By choosing transparency, you plant roots that dig deeper with every passing season. The deeper the roots, the harder it is for storms to break the tree. Honesty anchors relationships in reality. And reality is the only soil where unshakable trust can thrive. Trust is not built through a single grand gesture. It is built through the rhythm of consistency over time. People may be impressed by one act of kindness or reliability, but what truly earns their confidence is when they see those qualities repeated again and again. Consistency is the silent proof that your character can be relied upon no matter the situation. It is easy to show up once when it feels convenient, but trust grows when you show up repeatedly even when it is inconvenient. Every consistent action is a brick placed in the foundation of reliability, and over time that foundation becomes unshakable. Words are powerful, but actions that follow through are what make those words meaningful. Promises without consistency fade quickly, while consistent actions turn promises into reality. When people know what to expect from you, they relax into trust because uncertainty is replaced with security. It is through consistency that relationships stop being fragile and begin to feel safe. Small actions done consistently carry more weight than rare acts of greatness. A person who shows up every day in small, reliable ways is more trusted than someone who only appears in grand moments. Consistency communicates discipline, reliability, and integrity, which are qualities that make people feel anchored. The daily habits you practice are the signals others use to decide whether they can depend on you. Reliability is not about dramatic efforts. It is about steady faithfulness that proves your character. Each time you act in alignment with your words, you deepen the trust others place in you. The truth is that people don't just listen to what you say, they watch what you repeatedly do. Over time, they stop questioning because your consistency has already answered their doubts. By staying steady, you create confidence that your actions are not accidents, but reflections of who you are. Trust grows best in the soil of steady, reliable behavior. When you are consistent, you communicate stability, and stability is one of the most important elements in trust. Without consistency, people feel uncertain, always guessing whether they can count on you. Uncertainty creates doubt, and doubt weakens trust, even in strong relationships. Imagine the sense of safety that comes when someone knows they can depend on you every time, not just occasionally. That assurance allows them to open up more fully because they are not wasting energy worrying about whether you will follow through. Stability removes hesitation and creates a space where people can relax into the relationship. Trust becomes less about hope and more about confidence. Your steady actions send the message that you are dependable, and that message builds a foundation that no words alone can create. It is through consistency that reliability becomes undeniable. Consistency is not just about repeating actions. It is about aligning with values every single time. Anyone can act with integrity once, but it takes true character to do it over and over again. The strength of trust lies in the predictability of your actions. The reassurance that you will remain the same in both ease and adversity. When people see that your values are steady, they feel secure investing their trust in you. This kind of consistency does not depend on circumstances, but flows from your principles. It shows that your reliability is not seasonal or situational, but embedded in your identity. This is why consistency is far more powerful than occasional greatness. Greatness may inspire admiration, but consistency inspires trust. By living in alignment with your values day after day, you create a reputation that people can count on without hesitation. That reputation is the foundation of enduring trust. In moments of pressure or difficulty, consistency becomes even more important. It is easy to be dependable when everything is comfortable, but true reliability is proven in times of challenge. When you continue to show up consistently in difficult times, people see that your commitment is not conditional. That realization creates a deep sense of safety because they know they can count on you not just when it is easy, but when it is hardest. Adversity is the test where trust is either broken or strengthened. If your consistency holds firm, the trust formed in that moment becomes nearly impossible to shake. Every trial becomes an opportunity to prove your reliability and solidify trust further. The more consistently you show up through challenges, the stronger the bond becomes. People will always remember who stayed steady when circumstances were rough. That memory becomes a lasting foundation for unshakable trust. Consistency also speaks louder than excuses. Excuses weaken confidence, while consistent follow-through strengthens it. People do not measure trust by intentions, they measure it by results. You may have the best explanations for why something didn't happen, but explanations never carry the same weight as consistent actions. Reliability requires discipline to push past excuses and follow through regardless of obstacles. Over time, people will not remember the reasons things were delayed, but they will always remember whether you were dependable. Consistency sends the message that you value the relationship enough to make reliability a priority. Every time you replace excuses with action, you reinforce trust in ways words never could. Excuses create doubt, but consistent results create confidence. That confidence is the essence of unshakable trust. Another dimension of consistency is emotional steadiness. Trust is not only about what you do, but also about how you make people feel. If your reactions are unpredictable, people hesitate to open up because they don't know how you will respond. Consistency in your emotional presence assures them that they will be met with stability, not volatility. That steadiness makes it easier for others to be vulnerable because they know they won't face erratic behavior. Consistency in emotional energy communicates maturity and reliability, which further deepens trust. It is not about always being cheerful or perfect, but about being steady in how you handle emotions and situations. That reliability becomes a safe space for others, and safety is where trust thrives. Emotional consistency transforms relationships into secure environments where openness flourishes. Consistency builds trust gradually, but its power compounds over time. Each act of reliability might seem small in the moment, but together they create a record of faithfulness that is undeniable. Like bricks building a strong wall, every consistent choice adds to the structure of trust. At first, the wall may seem small, but with enough repetition, it becomes something strong enough to withstand storms. The compounding effect of consistent behavior is what turns ordinary relationships into extraordinary ones. People may forgive a broken promise once, but a pattern of inconsistency weakens the entire foundation. On the other hand, a long record of consistency creates a bond so strong that even mistakes can be forgiven more easily. The power of consistency lies in its accumulation. And over time, it becomes the cornerstone of unshakable trust. Trust that comes from consistency allows people to give more of themselves without fear. They no longer feel the need to protect themselves or hold back because they know your reliability will not let them down. That freedom leads to deeper connection, stronger collaboration, and greater loyalty. Consistency creates predictability, and predictability creates comfort. When people feel comfortable, they lean into the relationship with full commitment. It is in that environment that the best results, the deepest love, and the strongest teams are formed. Consistency doesn't just build trust. It unlocks the highest potential of relationships. The reliability you provide becomes a gift that empowers others to show up fully. That is the ultimate reward of practicing consistency every single day. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, yet in reality it is one of the strongest foundations of trust. To open yourself up and allow others to see who you truly are requires immense courage. It means removing the armor that protects you from judgment and showing the parts of yourself that are not polished or perfect. When people witness your humanity, they connect with you on a deeper level because they see themselves in your struggles. Pretending to be flawless creates distance, but being vulnerable bridges that gap. It tells others that they are safe to be imperfect around you too. That safety builds an atmosphere where trust can flourish without fear of rejection. Vulnerability does not diminish respect, it deepens it. Communicates authenticity, and authenticity is the currency that trust depends on. The moments that bond people most are rarely the ones filled with perfection, but the ones filled with honesty about pain, fear, or failure. When you share those moments openly, you give others permission to take off their masks as well. It is in that exchange that trust begins to multiply. Vulnerability creates intimacy because it allows people to see beyond the surface into your real story. This openness is magnetic because it breaks through the walls of pretense that keep most connections shallow. By choosing to reveal rather than conceal, you build a space where authenticity is valued over image. That space becomes a sanctuary where trust grows strong. Vulnerability transforms relationships from being transactional to being transformational. When people feel they can reveal their truth without judgment, bonds deepen beyond what words alone can achieve. Trust becomes not just a possibility, but inevitability. Vulnerability is also a sign of strength because it shows you are secure enough in yourself to not fear exposure. It takes far more courage to admit, I don't know, or I'm scared, than it does to hide behind false confidence. People respect honesty because it feels real, and reality is what they can trust. When you show vulnerability, you demonstrate that your worth is not tied to pretending, but to being authentic. That demonstration reassures others that they can trust you with their own insecurities. Vulnerability becomes the invitation for deeper trust because it communicates that perfection is not a requirement for acceptance. It turns relationships into safe spaces where both strength and weakness can coexist without shame. The strength of a bond lies in the freedom it gives people to be fully themselves. Back, vulnerability creates that freedom by dissolving the fear of judgment. Trust grows when vulnerability meets empathy. When you share your truth and it is received with compassion instead of criticism, back, it creates a cycle of safety. That cycle encourages further openness, which in turn strengthens the bond. Without vulnerability, trust remains shallow because only the polished parts of life are visible. Back, but when the unpolished, messy truths are revealed and embraced, trust deepens to a level that cannot be shaken easily. Back, vulnerability makes relationships resilient because it builds understanding that goes beyond surface level appearances. People begin to trust not only in your strengths, but in your humanity. That kind of trust can withstand storms because it is not dependent on perfection. It is rooted in reality, and reality is always more durable than illusion. Vulnerability brings trust into the realm of authenticity, where it becomes unbreakable. Many fear vulnerability because they see it as exposure that could lead to betrayal. Yet the truth is that withholding vulnerability creates its own form of distance and disconnection. Back, when you never allow others to see who you really are, they never get the chance to fully trust you. Surface level interactions may feel safe, but they lack the depth that true trust requires. Vulnerability does not guarantee that people will never disappoint you, but it does guarantee that the trust you build is real. Back, it is better to risk authentic connection than to settle for relationships built on guarded facades. Vulnerability requires discernment, but when shared with the right people, it builds bonds that are worth the risk. Back, the openness you show becomes a mirror that invites others to respond in kind. That mutual exchange strengthens trust in a way that guardedness never could. Back, vulnerability is also the birthplace of courage in relationships. When you share openly, you take a risk that might feel terrifying, yet that risk proves your willingness to invest in the bond. Others recognize that bravery and respond with respect and appreciation. Trust grows because they see you are willing to lean into discomfort for the sake of authenticity. The paradox is that what feels like risk often becomes the very thing that secures the relationship. Vulnerability exposes your true self, and when that true self is accepted, trust becomes deeply rooted. Back, it builds the kind of connection that goes beyond convenience and moves into commitment. The courage to be vulnerable communicates that you value trust more than image. Back, that value creates a lasting foundation where both people feel fully seen and accepted. Vulnerability also strengthens leadership and influence. Back, that because people are more willing to follow someone who is real than someone who pretends to be perfect. When you show your humanity, others see that your path is relatable and achievable. That relatability creates trust in your guidance and decisions. Leaders who hide behind a facade may inspire temporary admiration, but they rarely inspire lasting trust. Back, vulnerability shows that you are willing to connect on the level of shared humanity, not superiority. That connection makes people feel valued and understood, which is the heart of trust. By leading with vulnerability, back, you create an environment where openness is not only allowed but encouraged. That environment breeds trust because it eliminates the fear of judgment. Vulnerability, when embraced, transforms authority into authenticity and builds unshakable bonds. The practice of vulnerability also requires patience because trust is not built instantly. Every time you reveal a piece of your authentic self, back, you are testing the waters of trust. Each time that openness is met with acceptance, the bond grows stronger. This gradual process allows trust to grow slowly but securely. Vulnerability is not about oversharing or exposing everything at once, but about being genuine in the moments that matter most. Back, the cumulative effect of those genuine moments creates trust that feels earned rather than forced. People come to see that your vulnerability is not a performance, but a consistent reflection of who you are. That consistency is what makes vulnerability such a powerful builder of trust. Over time, those shared moments of authenticity create bonds that become unshakable. In relationships, vulnerability creates the space for forgiveness and growth. When mistakes happen, being vulnerable enough to admit them openly fosters understanding rather than defensiveness. Hit back. It is difficult to trust someone who never acknowledges their flaws, but it is easy to trust someone who admits them and seeks to grow. Vulnerability turns conflict into an opportunity for deeper connection instead of division. It shows that you value the relationship enough to put aside pride and be honest about your shortcomings. That humility fosters trust because it demonstrates integrity. People respect the courage it takes to admit failure and the willingness to change. Vulnerability transforms mistakes into stepping stones for stronger bonds. Hit back. In this way, it is not only the builder of trust, but also the restorer of it. Trust is not something you win once and then set aside as if it will last forever without care. It is a living bond that requires attention, back effort, and commitment every single day. Protecting trust means treating it like the fragile yet powerful force that it is. A careless word, a broken promise, back, or neglected responsibility can undo years of effort in a moment. That is why guarding trust is not about fear, but about respect. Respect for the people who believed in you enough to give their confidence. That respect for the relationship that holds more value than any temporary convenience. Every time you choose loyalty over temptation, honesty over ease, and commitment over distraction, back, you are protecting the trust that has been placed in you. This protection is what turns fragile connections into lasting ones that can withstand the tests of time. Guarding trust also means guarding your integrity, back, because without integrity, there's no foundation strong enough to hold it. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching, and that silent commitment speaks volumes to those who depend on you. Back. People may not see every choice you make, but eventually your patterns reveal themselves in the way you treat others, and honor your word. When you protect trust by living in integrity, you create a sense of safety for everyone connected to you. They do not have to question your motives because your actions consistently confirm them. Protecting trust is not about perfection, but about alignment between who you say you are and how you live. That alignment is what keeps relationships stable because consistency eliminates doubt. Every decision that reflects integrity adds another layer of strength to the trust that has been built. Protecting trust also requires loyalty, a commitment that extends beyond words and into actions. Loyalty means standing by those you value, even when it is not convenient or popular to do so. It means refusing to allow external distractions or opportunities to pull you away from the bond you have committed to protect. Loyalty proves itself in the quiet choices, in the unseen moments where you decide to honor a promise instead of betraying it. When people see loyalty in action, their trust deepens because they know that your commitment is not conditional. Protecting trust through loyalty creates a shield that prevents betrayal from entering the relationship. Without loyalty, even the strongest bonds can erode quickly, but with it, trust becomes nearly indestructible. Loyalty ensures that people can invest fully in the relationship without fear of abandonment. That freedom strengthens connection and allows trust to grow without limitation. Another way to protect trust is by setting boundaries that honor both yourself and others. Boundaries are not walls that separate, but guidelines that protect what is valuable. By setting and respecting boundaries, you show that you take the relationship seriously enough to safeguard it from harm. Boundaries prevent resentment, miscommunication, and overextension from weakening the bond. They create clarity, and clarity is essential for trust to thrive. Protecting trust means understanding that healthy boundaries are an act of respect, not restriction. They provide the framework where loyalty, honesty, and reliability can flourish without being strained by misunderstandings. Without boundaries, trust becomes vulnerable to burnout or disappointment, but with them, it is fortified. Boundaries ensure that both people feel valued and protected, which in turn makes the relationship stronger. Protecting trust begins with respecting limits that preserve the bond for the long term. Trust must also be protected by accountability, the willingness to own your actions and their consequences. When mistakes happen, as they inevitably do, protecting trust means addressing them with honesty and humility instead of denial or blame. Accountability shows that the relationship matters more than protecting your pride. It communicates that you are committed to repairing and maintaining the bond, even when it requires discomfort. Without accountability, mistakes become cracks that slowly spread until the trust shatters completely. With accountability, those same mistakes can become opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. Protecting trust through accountability builds resilience, because it turns failures into stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. When people see that you are willing to own your missteps, they become more willing to forgive. Forgiveness strengthens trust when it is accompanied by genuine accountability. Protecting trust in this way transforms challenges into reinforcement rather than destruction. Protecting trust also demands consistency over time because no single action is strong enough to hold it permanently. Trust thrives when words and actions align repeatedly, day after day, regardless of circumstances. It cannot be sustained by occasional gestures. It requires steady reliability. Protecting trust means understanding that consistency is not boring but powerful. It creates the kind of security that people can rely on without hesitation. Each time you choose consistency, you prove that the relationship is a priority, not an afterthought. Protecting trust is a daily commitment, not a one-time achievement. It requires persistence, discipline, and the willingness to keep showing up even when it feels difficult. When people experience that level of consistency, they stop questioning your reliability. They know they can count on you, and that knowledge builds a foundation of trust that cannot easily be broken. Trust is most vulnerable in times of temptation, when the easy choice conflicts with the right choice. Protecting trust in these moments requires strength of character, the ability to say no to temporary satisfaction in favor of long-term respect. Temptation often offers instant gratification, but always at the cost of lasting damage to trust. Choosing to protect trust instead of giving in to temptation proves that you value the relationship more than fleeting desire. These are the moments that define the strength of the bond, because they test whether trust is truly unshakable. Protecting trust is about thinking beyond yourself, considering how your actions will affect those who rely on you. It requires foresight, discipline, and loyalty to principles. When you pass these tests of temptation, the relationship becomes stronger than it was before. Protecting trust in this way ensures that it is preserved not just for today, but for the future. Protecting trust is also about communication, the willingness to express openly and listen deeply. Misunderstandings and silence can erode trust if they are left unaddressed. By communicating with honesty and clarity, you protect the bond from unnecessary doubt or suspicion. Communication creates transparency, and transparency builds security. Protecting trust means being proactive in your conversations, addressing issues before they grow into obstacles. It means creating space where both people feel safe to share openly without fear of judgment. This kind of communication prevents small cracks from becoming irreparable breaks. When you practice consistent, open communication, you are showing that the relationship matters enough to be cared for attentively. Protecting trust is not passive. It requires intentional effort through dialogue. The more open and honest the communication, the stronger the trust becomes. Take it back. Protecting trust in this way ensures that nothing is left hidden to weaken the bond. Ultimately, protecting trust is an act of love. It shows that you value the relationship enough to guard it with integrity, loyalty, accountability, and consistency. Trust cannot survive neglect, but it thrives when it is intentionally protected every day. Protecting trust creates the kind of connection that is rare and invaluable. One that can withstand storms and last a lifetime. It is not the absence of challenges that makes trust unshakable, but the presence of unwavering protection through those challenges. When you protect trust, you create bonds that do not waver with time, pressure, or temptation. These bonds become the foundation for the deepest love, the strongest partnerships, and the most enduring friendships. Protecting trust is the ultimate proof that you honor the relationship and the person who gave you their confidence. In the end, protecting trust is not just about keeping a bond alive, it is about keeping it unbreakable. If this touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and join our soul family.